Going to go through some minor updates and some big updates for 3.17.2 PTU that we're starting to see roll out. We are onto the F patch as of July 2, and I have to say that it is getting a lot more stable. I wanted to show some known issues that we're starting to see that are major issues. The biggest one that I'm seeing across the board is the lack of oxygen at some of the ASOP terminals and in some of the elevators and a few other places. So what I'd recommend is using a helmet, especially if you're in Grim Hex. Yeah, you can also see that there is some issues with the Easy Hab elevators being broken, which is a major issue. As a reminder, PTU is not a finished product. It's very rough around the edges, and these will probably be fixed in the next patch. You can always do another copied character over to the PTU. That will reset it. Your character. So if you're like trapped on a station because the elevators aren't working, that's probably the way to handle that. I'm not going to go into the reclaimer discussion because I haven't a whole little discussion to talk about that. But anyway, understand that these are some of the major issues that you're going to see. Now, they are talking about possibly this upcoming weekend, going into the rest of this weekend, possibly having some really interesting events that are coming back. Some we know, like Nine Tails Lockdown, and also Jump Town being returned, and a few other things. Now, these are on the live server due to the fact that the PTU 3.17.2 is not rolled over to the live server yet because of all these known issues. Once it is, the FPS gameplay that you keep hearing about will be moved from the PTU server over to the main server. As a reminder, you can still tour those locations. They are in the Crusader showroom. Go to the rooftop instead of going to the actual showroom in the building, and you take the shuttle straight over. It's the only shuttle up there. Okay, dynamic event weekend. So on the live server, there is these events. The Nine Tails Lockdown is across multiple days, all the way into Tuesday, actually. And Jump Town 2.0 is this weekend. I would highly recommend just going to these for fun. Do not ride Jump Town for the UEC because there will be a large wipe of all items in the upcoming patch. That means the entire database is being reset except for reputation. And that's a major issue for some players. I know that includes ships. I had to clarify that with the CIG. But the ships and ground vehicles are being wiped that you have earned in-game. So stuff in your hangar that you've purchased is safe, but stuff that you've purchased out in-game are going to be reset. As a reminder, with persistence wipes, these long-term persistence testings, it's going to be a long time between, hopefully, between this wipe and any future wipe. So you probably will have about a year, give or take, that you will be able to enjoy these products, if not longer, that you purchase in-game. So unfortunately, these events this weekend are more for fun, and anybody who's interested in grinding hardcore really doesn't have much to get out of these. But it should be fun. Also, there is going to be a Freefly event for new players that do not have game packages, again, on the 7th of this month. And there's a Refer a Friend program, yet again, for a free Dragonfly. You refer your friend as a brand new account. They put your referral code in when they're making the account. You get a Dragonfly, they get a Dragonfly when they purchase a game package. So, a little bit of incentive there. As a reminder, you do need a game package to access the PTU. The Wave 3 includes all players with game packages, which is the final wave in PTUs. So that's another thing before we go into PTU discussion. Okay, a little bit more into PTU discussion. The PTU feedback pages actually gave me a little bit of insight into what these new roles are supposed to be, because I'm reading them in the patch notes going, what is this, what is that? And I didn't want to read the marketing stuff. I wanted to be down right to the feedback. Handful of new Derelict Outposts throughout Stanton. They are broken and tattered remains of Stanton's initial settlement and are now home to less savory elements. The easiest way to get a look is to grab delivery missions in the Microtech area. So remember, Microtech's really far out there. For some players, if you're in a smaller ship, you may need to get a friend to take you out there, then file an insurance claim when you're sitting over comfortable in New Babbage or in that planetary system at places you can make claims. As a reminder, there's more and more stations being put online. So the Lagrange point type stations are another place you want to operate if you don't like having crowds. So I've been starting to recommend not just go to the station right above the city. There's plenty of options. When you open up your mobiGlas, check it out. You can always find more and more options. And these Derelict Outposts are yet more places to explore in space that are stations and places to possibly get some basic services at in the future. So really they're meant for just being part of these missions that are coming online. But I think that's going to change over time. Now, these new systems are being requested to have feedback. As a reminder, the more active you are in these feedbacks and filing issue council issues, when CIG requests, put you in a higher rank. So even if you aren't a subscriber, you aren't a concierge, you can still get into the higher waves of PTU just by submitting feedback and being active in the PTU universe. So if you're always wondering why am I always the last one in, this is one of the ways to get around that. But you can see there's very little feedback so far. There's a few people talking about different things, nice little videos here. But so we'll see how this goes. On the other feedback, the Reclaimer one, you can actually see the mission names. So the Reclaimer Derelicts are the ground-based version of this, or in-space version. You can see the planet and space being listed specifically. So there's 4 new missions for the Reclaimer Derelicts, and they are more evenly distributed. They are not primarily around Microtech. 2 of them are in Microtech area, in the pocket. 2 of them are not. One's in Crusader space, for example, towards Orison, and one's at ArcCorp, Area 18, just outside of the space there. So it's kind of cool they have unique names, and the derelicts themselves, from the 2 I've explored, they are different looking. So that's pretty cool. So they have added missions, and that means that you have a beacon to go explore the Reclaimer. So if you want to explore the new Reclaimer derelicts, which is very popular in this patch, in 3.17.2, look for the missions: remove illegal occupants off the Ghost Hollow, breach and seal off the October Rising, failed negotiations on the Pride of Arliss, or seize the data on the Black Kite. Now the Black Kite, the final part of that mission requires you to blow up the ship after you retrieve the data. So that's kind of unfortunate because basically you can see some of the feedback here detailing what we're hearing is that if you're not careful, it will blow you up with it inside the wreck. As a reminder, whenever you're going into FPS style gameplay, especially if you don't have medical facilities on board your ship, pack light, pack cheap. And if you can bring friends, that's even better, because they can pick up your stuff if you can't get back to it. If you do have a medical facility, remember that you should have extra spacesuits, just cheap beacon suits or whatever you got laying around, and a helmet. That's the basic necessities. You can run outside a Microtech without all that stuff. You will freeze to death pretty quickly, but if you get back over there, if it's a cold area, and I haven't explored the Microtech on the ground one yet, but if it is in the cold areas, you do have a couple seconds to get over to places, get out of the cold, put on gear that you've left. Just some thoughts. And don't forget extra firearms and healing med guns as well. So prepare yourself just like you're going into the other tile of FPS gameplay. Just thought I'd mention that as a little side note. And into this month in Star Citizen, we have seen a lot of upgrades in 3.17.2, but there is a lot of known issues. That's what I led with. I wasn't trying to beat around the bush. I wasn't trying to hide anything from you. I do like that the old events are being mixed with the new. So we have what they're calling the Orison Dynamic Event, the brand new Siege. The Siege of Orison is, it's still in development. The first 2 platforms are accessible to explore. Solanke and Brushwood are available. There is the amazing Ozier restaurant. There's a few other surprises I haven't spoiled for you. And there's also a lot of, if you're a fan of the Pisces, you can be the hero or the failure of your team pretty damn quick. But I think one of the things I'm worried about with the dynamic event there is the Freefly event kind of slowing down the action and lagging it out. Now, on the other side of the coin, You have Jumptown being revamped and getting out there and being brought back yet again. Jumptown 2.0 came out a while ago, and now we're seeing it come back for 3.17.2. And also the Ninetales event, the Ninetales Lockdown. The beauty of the Ninetales Lockdown is you're sitting in a ship. You bring a ship with a big enough shields and kind of some buffer hit points. It's okay if it's a little laggy. Unlike with an FPS, lag means death. And Jumptown 2.0 is a little less stressful because you're kind of expecting to go down there and have a wonderful dumpster fire of a fight, lack of a better term. If you bring friends, it's a good idea. It should be something to have fun with. If you happen to make some UEC, great. I just feel like it's an interesting thing. They keep hinting at this maze. It's the second time I've seen that. I can't wait to see it. I'm sure there will be plenty of videos. These paints are very interesting to me. They're being rolled out in July 7 as well, right alongside the Freefly timing. And they have been teased a few times now. I would think they're pretty low-key. I think the 600i catches my eye because there's not that many paints for the 600i. And I also like the fact that they remembered the Freelancer series and the Prospector. Prospector does have a lot of paints, to be fair, but the Freelancer and the 600i are kind of like sometimes forgotten about, dare I say it. And the Lib, of course, always looks good. Can't wait to see these paints in game. I think they're very cool. I think they're very professional looking. And a lot of times, you know, the urge is to make bright colors and such. And sometimes that can really distract. And especially if you're trying to put on an air of legitimacy and professionalism and such when you're doing missions and operations as an organization or doing it for contract. It's nice to see these type of setups here and there. The Fly for Free event is between the July 7th and the July 18th. As a reminder, this is the free fly that you always hear about. And it looks like the Foundation Festival is going to be between July 7th and 18th, if that marketing is correct, alongside the Foundation Festival, it says. So, just a reminder. I think this is great that they're bringing the referral bonus back. There is a method to the madness with this. If you're considering getting an alt account, there is I am not advocating for this, and I am not saying it's a bad idea. I am just saying it is something to keep in mind. If you have been holding off on getting an alternate account, and you're considering one now, you could wait for July 7th. Use the referral code of your own account on the alt account. Purchase a game pack for that account. And then 30 days later, you can trade whatever ships you picked up on the alternate account back to your main account. Both accounts now have a Dragonfly, and that's a nice LTI token for both accounts. And at least it's something on your alt account. That has been the way it has been in the past. I'm not advocating for it. I'm not saying it's a bad idea either way. I'm just saying it is something that some players have done, and the strategy is relatively sound. In the eyes of CIG, either way, you're purchasing a game pack, and it's you purchasing the game pack. And at least you have a nice little bonus for your alt account. Just a warning, though, if you end up with an alt account, you probably will have more ships on there. You're going to be like, oh, I just like the Nomad on there. Oh, just to move around with. Oh, no, I want 100i. Sorry, 125A. Channeling my buddy Mason. Battle of the Bricks is still on. If you're a huge Lego fan and you know what you're doing with Legos, you know the deal. And the most two important things to some people, well, to Trader Jack, Trucker Jack now, T-Jack, we can talk about the pirate event. So they're going to bring back Talk Like a Pirate Day. So it says new offerings. So hopefully that means they're bringing about pirate paints or yet another run at the Gladius. Ideally a CCU to get that LTI. T-Jack, looking out for you, man. You know, it's something that I think some folks have done in the past where they're frustrated with their cat and their Gladius. Basically, they have like a permanent paint on them. They're a pirate class of ship. They have this cool skull and crossbones on the cat, for example. And it's very frustrating to players that have that without LTI. Some of them even have 6 months insurance. As a reminder, it's like whenever the game finally starts, years from now, the 6 months would start. But still, it'd be nicer if you're purchasing something to have LTI or at least 10-year on it. You can see this nice Gladius paint. I hope to see more of that. It would be cool to be earnable in game or purchasable in the store, which is really what we need to start going towards, in my opinion. But I guess we'll see what the idea is. You can see contest events and new offerings. So hopefully that this will be available in the store and in the game. And back to Ship Showdown. I wanted to cap off with the Ship Showdown. This discussion to me is always something that is near and dear to my heart. I really have mixed emotions about the Argo Cargo winning everything last year, but I stand by what I've said before and after that happened. I stand by, for the years I've said this, the final four are the winners. I don't care who's crowned the top, because the final four all get a new paint. So I look at it from a very methodical method and think, what ships are the most deserving of this? And also, which ships badly need a new paint job and could really look good in the Ship Showdown colors. You can see the Ship Showdown colors right in the logo, by the way. They tend to gravitate around those colors. But there's a lot to be said about the Ship Showdown. I'm not going to be the one that tries to say if it was bad or good to have the Argo Cargo campaign. I will say this. I wish there was a vote from the beginning, not just Twitter, Facebook, etc., and Spectrum drumming up interest for different ships to get into the brackets. That's the only thing I will weigh in on. I do wish every ship had a fair shake at the vote. And when it comes to the Ship Showdown, that seems like that would be the fairest thing. And if it fairly wins, so be it. You know, if there is a campaign socially to get people excited about it, okay, cool. You know, I just feel that way. And I also feel that other ships that have made it to the final four in the past couple of years should not be in the bracket. Plain and simple, I just don't see the point. They're just going to possibly take slots from other ships that haven't gotten it yet. Kind of like a catch-up system for ships that have not won in a while. I was one of the people I think 2 years back, I think now, that advocated for the 800-890 jump to make it through to the final, from the final 8 to the final 4, and it got beat out. And that's kind of a thing with ships that don't have a lot of players that own them. The 600i series is another one who suffers arguably from that risk. But I would say that large ships and small ships won last year. It was really cool to see. And once again, the Argo Cargo was crowned winner. And congrats to the people who started that grassroots effort and the folks who stood by it and got it going. And a lot of the Redditors who kept it moving, and the Spectrum folks, the Spectrum Warriors that kept it running. Congrats to you. You put on a heck of a show. I just hope to see ships that haven't had some paints in a long time or no paints at all get their moment in the sun. I would not be shocked if a ship that is a little bit of a surprise gets up to the top. It's just something I feel in my heart, especially now that last year they added in this idea of having a specialized jacket that's custom made with the ship's logo on the back and such, like a flight jacket style, like the IAE style jackets. Sorry, the Invictus Jump Week style jackets. I feel like that those flight jackets and the backpacks and such made it very interesting for players. So hopefully that becomes a new strategy dynamic of like, oh, what's the stylish type of ship? What's the street cred ship to have? Yes, we'll see. Yeah. And that's all I have on that. I want to thank you for sticking around this far. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so. And if you have any comments or questions, don't hesitate to ask below. If you are still reeling from the reset, sorry. We knew it was coming eventually. We just didn't know it was going to be 3.17.2, to be blunt. And if I was to guess, honestly, I guess we're in overtime now. If I was to guess, I thought it was going to be at 4.0. I thought Pyro comes out, do the reset, done. From what I heard through the grapevine, apparently there was some serious economy issues. There was some closely guarded secret paths and such to make some serious UEC on trade routes and such. And also, this jump town specifically created a big mess because there was a couple orgs that were like printing money in individual players as well. Guy found some quiet servers, nobody was at Jumptown, and they just kept pressing the make money button basically when it was active, and they made considerable sums. More power to them, but at the same time, I think CIG's looking at the economy of scale, and they're looking at like some of the gray market issues, and I think they're trying to kind of dial that back. I was just shocked at how fast they deployed this wipe. This may for the honest players and for the players that are more casual in gameplay, and they kind of have these long-term goals of picking up, a mid-sized ship or something with their in-game money. Maybe pick up a cat or something like that. Suddenly now that's out of reach, or they just picked it up recently. I think it's going to be very frustrating to those players, unfortunately. But I guess we'll see where things stand in 3.17.2. I'm all over that PTU. I'm going to keep going at it and keeping you folks up to date and informed. And I hope to see you in the verse. Take care.